if it's factually proven.
I was trying to explain, and you said that you wasn't going to interrupt me. I really listened to you. What I'm telling you is that is a false narrative that you're saying, because the reason why you want to interrupt me is because I'm proving your point was invalid. You are saying that a woman raising kids makes them emotional. So a man raising kids, and men have, like, I can say men have a horrible temper. All wars have been started by men, none of them by women. So that means that men are emotionally unbalanced because all the wars have been started by males. So what I'm telling you is that there are kids that can absolutely be raised by a single mom, whether they're black or white, and they won't. You keep saying they're being emotional. You emotional because you have emotions. You have to know how to teach kids to regulate their emotions and don't lash out. Don't be out here sagging your pants. I don't know a grown, educated woman that is out here saying, hey kids, you go out there, I want you to sag your pants, I want you to say F Billy Earl, and I want you to go shoot up the school. But you know what? Black kids don't be, if you're saying that black on black crime, that stuff is a myth, and it's more guns being used by black people to cause harm. What about school shootings? I have not seen too many black kids go in a school and shoot up several kids. That's called a mass shooting. There are more kids in the suburbs where it's predominantly white. They go in those schools. They don't do anything to protect those kids. And when those kids are no longer living, you know what white people do? They then won't change, because it only when it affects them, that's when they care. White people don't care when it affects other people. Just like you want people to believe that being raised by a single mom means that you're probably going to be emotional. You're not going to be successful. You're going to be out here killing because your daddy wasn't around. What if their dad was killed in a line of duty because they work as a police officer? So they grow up without their dad, and the mom moves to a different city because it's too much for her to see the same city every day. Does that mean that child is going to be a piece of crap? No, it does not. And for you to say that kids can't be raised by a single mom is insane, because they're emotional. If women are so emotional, how is it that when most men, when they get sad and see,
wait, why does that offend you, ma'am? Why does it offend you?
Huh?
When I say women are more emotional than men, why does that offend you?
It doesn't offend me. It's just that and that's another thing. There's nothing that you can say to offend me, because I'm extremely educated and I'm way older than you. So if
you were, I mean, with all respect, ma'am, if you were educated, you would know that women tend to be more emotional than men.
You're reading this from the internet. I'm talking about real life stuff, not something that you can go and Google.
No, ma'am, there's been studies on this.
All right.
So look, there was a study, right?
All right. So there's a study that women are more emotional, but who did that study?
Yes, ma'am. So hold on. Well, there's many different studies, right? But this is an example.
I don't want to talk about women's emotions. I want to talk about what we're talking about. That's cool. If you say that women are more emotional, cool. Then yes, that's what it is. Women are more emotional than men. Great. So now that we've acknowledged that, let's move on, because that's not even important. What I'm telling you.
Takesha, look, I have a lot of guest requests, so we got to get to the point a little bit.
Yeah, go ahead. All right. My point is that you, as a male, trying to say that the way that black people are raised, have you ever lived in a black community?
No, no, I haven't.
You haven't. So do you know, other than what you read on the internet and what you see on the news, what else do you know about a black community and what goes on there?
Well, I believe in data. Do you?
That's not what I asked you. I didn't ask you what you believe in. I asked you if you ever grew up in a black neighborhood, or do you go to a black neighborhood to see for yourself what is going on? Or do you, if you say data, if you say, oh shit, these people over here in my city, they killing each other and they're being crazy. Something's got to be going on. But if you've never been to a black community, you've never stayed in a black community, all you're going to get is hearsay. That's what hearsay is for. It's called trust but verify. So everything that you're reading, this data, How do you know that this data is absolutely accurate? Because there was plenty of data saying that black women don't need pain medication because we can tolerate pain more. Did you know that that is still a statistic? Did you know that? But that's not true. How can you tell me that I'm black and I can endure more pain? I don't need pain meds. But that is, if you Google it, that's still there. Find it. But that's not a true data. So you need to trust things, but verify it. So for you,
Takesha, have you lived in Memphis like your whole life?
Absolutely.
Okay, well, you just said that Memphis is a black city, so you shouldn't talk about white people doing mass shootings then.
Yes, I can, because guess what? I live in.
No, you can't, because you didn't live through that experience.
Look up in Tennessee.
You didn't live through that experience.
3 hours away. Nashville is 3 hours away, and they had a school shooting. So I can say that because it's not me like you. You're looking up other cities that you can't.
You can't talk about white people, man. You can't talk about white people.
Talk about white people. You talking about
because
you talking
said
about
that
black people, and you don't even live in a black neighborhood.
You don't live in a white neighborhood.
You don't live in a black city. And I'm talking about, okay, I can talk about the state of Tennessee. Now,
you don't live in a white neighborhood, man. So you can't talk about white people.
I did live in a white neighborhood. I told you at the beginning of the call that
you said Memphis.
Kyville High School. Listen, I look up Kyville High School in Kyville, Tennessee. That is on
Well, that's why I asked you.
Memphis. Hold on. That's on
ma'am, I asked you if you lived in Memphis your whole life, and you said yes.
Right now. Kyville is 5 minutes away. I have grown up in this city, whether it's the outskirts or on the inside. Right now, I am a voter in the city of Memphis, and I am absolutely educated. And not only did I not live in Tennessee, I've been to Iraq. I joined.
Well, you should know it more than me, man.
Hold on. I joined when I was 17. I have seen more in my 39 years and known in my 39 years while you're sitting there Googling things, haven't been outside to find out anything. If you are really for the people and you're saying that you're not being divisive, then that means that you won't just sit there, Google some stuff that talks bad about black people and say, well, I seen it on 3 websites. It gotta be true. I've been all up and through this city.
So how do you know mass shootings are true?
Excuse me?
If you've never lived in a white neighborhood, how do you know that mass shootings are true?
All right. You want to know how I know?
Because you saw it on the news, probably?
Nope. No. Yeah, actually, I wasn't at the school. Yeah. Come on, Max. I wasn't at the school when the shooting happened, but I know that the school shooting happened because when it happened, I went to Nashville the next week. I don't know if you know any political people in the state of Tennessee, but there's a young man named Pearson, and he's from the city of Memphis, but he works at the Capitol in Nashville. So when I'm telling you about sitting back looking at things that you don't know, I'm not talking about mass shootings. I'm not, because those things are real. You see that everywhere. Hey, cut it out. No barking. I'm not talking about the big things that we know that are absolutely happening, but I live in this state and I go to Nashville. I plead and I'm on the side of non-violence. I'm on the side of gun safety. So for you to say, well, how do you know it was a school shooting? It was on the news, absolutely. But the stuff that you're talking about on the news is only about only black people doing bad things. That's all you pay attention to. And you don't know, like the news will say right now, that somebody was killed by their boyfriend. Then you don't hear anything about it anymore because that wasn't true. But then when you dig into it and you do your research and find out like, oh, well, that shooting happened. That was a random shooting. So when I'm talking about, don't talk about things that you just see and not verifying, of course. Columbine happened too. I don't live there, but I don't live in that state, but I know it happened because the cameras were out there. They were bringing out bodies. Those people were terrified. But what you're talking about is not a mass shooting. You talked about a woman being more emotional, a woman not being, or kids growing up being crappy because their dad's not in the household. That's 2 different things. And that's what I mean by getting up and actually talking to people. You don't know people's situation and why they might not have a dad. Their dad could have been
wait, so Takesha, so you're from Memphis?
Listen, I gotta go to work because I actually have a job. I don't be on TikTok all day, but I had to stop and tell you that. So
I have a job as well. by the way.
Oh, well, I got to go to work because I'm saving lives. I don't know what you do, but I save lives.
What lives?
Did you not hear me where I say I work at?
Well, I mean,
Well,
I
they're
think
all
that,
lives because where I work at, it's not just black people. They're people from all over the world because it is a children's hospital and these kids have cancer. So I don't just treat one type. I don't help treat one type of child.
well,
So
I just want to say before you go, ma'am, that Memphis is the seventh most,
keep Googling. You're
it
Googling it.
has,
You don't know anything
so
about the
Memphis,
city.
wait, so Memphis is actually in the top 20 most violent
We
gang.
are number one in the most violent crimes. Because listen, let me tell you something.
So then you should know more than me. You should know more than me that this is
And that's what
true.
I'm telling you. I know more than you, and that what you're saying is not true. I'm telling you that
So then you should admit it, ma'am.
saying,
You should admit it
some of
then.
the things that you're saying, because I do know it, and because I do work for the government, because I do work around cancer children. These patients are from all over the country. Every country that we assist, there's a flag in the building. What I'm telling you is that yes, I do know these things, and that some of the things, not all of the things you said, but some of the things that you said were just straight up not true. And this is coming from a person like you just told me, well, you should know more than me. And I do. And that's why I'm telling you. That's why I'm telling you that. Because you have to go look up my city. You will never come to my city. I bet you I can come to your city and ain't no police gonna bother me. And I can go and the hood people probably not gonna bother me. You know why? Because I'm not there to talk down on people, to make people feel like that what they're doing, some of them, that what they're doing, you're not doing enough. Because when you talk about how black people can succeed, what about resources? And since you want to Google something, Google how much money the state of Tennessee owes a historically black college. $2.1 billion. But that HBCU, when people go and visit, it looks raggedy. It looks run down. You know why? Because the state owes that school $2.1 billion over 20 years. They never gave that black school their money. So then when people like you go and say, hey, don't go to TSU, it's raggedy, not knowing that the state owes them money. They stole money from them. And the FBI is the one who said it. The FBI put it out there. And now the state owes this black college $2.1 billion because that's what they stole from them. Ain't no Austin P school being owed no money because it's predominantly white. So why did they do that to a HBCU? They qualified. They didn't do anything wrong.
Well, I think you should move to Texas, where I'm from.
Now, that's cool too. I live in a crappy Republican state. I won't move to another one.
Well, I like Tennessee because
Because it's
they're
the home of the
some.
Klan.
No, not because of that.
Oh.
No, but you're absolutely right.
You're
Yeah,
racist. I'm messing with you. I don't want you to think I'm just, messing with you. I don't think you're racist or anything. I think that some of your points are valid, but I also think that your age and your life experience might skew some of the things that you're saying. That's all. Because I'm a reasonable person and I'm honest. Like, I don't think that your show is hostile. I'm glad that you invited me on your live.
yes, ma'am. I'm just trying to get different perspectives, but you agree that women are more emotional than men, right?
Hell no. I'm not. Why would I agree with that?
Because it's true, ma'am.
All right, well, let me ask you this. Again, where all these wars that's going on right now, who can't hold their emotions together? Men or women? Because they're fighting about land. One of these guys are fighting about some land that don't belong to them. And he mad. He got in his feelings because he's emotional. And he want to go and kill innocent people for something that don't even belong to him.
Wait, who are you talking about specifically?
Do you know that there's a Ukraine and Russian?
Yeah, the war. Yeah.
Oh, so that's what I was referring to, Ukraine and Russia. There are no women in power over there. Actually, all wars have been started by men trying to take something that did not belong to them. So again, I'm asking you, if you're telling me that statistic wise, that they're saying that women are more emotional than men.
Gotcha. So, okay. So let me interject a little bit here. So I am a Black woman, and I have my father and my mother were present in my life. So when hearing the women are more emotional, men are, that kind of contradicts what we're speaking about here. Again, and I really liked, I believe her name was Takesha. I really love her point on that. Being emotional doesn't really have anything to do with you being better at something or you being able to regulate your emotion. That doesn't have anything to do with anything. Mm-hmm. Men and women are naturally emotional. Everyone has emotions. So yes, and again, you have to learn how to regulate them. Black, white, it doesn't matter what you are, any of that. You have to learn how to regulate your emotions, whether you're a male or a female. You can definitely be raised by a woman and know how to regulate your emotions. You could definitely be raised by a Black woman and know how to regulate your emotions. It has nothing to do with being a woman or being Black or any of that. That is neither here nor there. There are very successful people who have been raised by single parents, who have been raised by single mothers every day. Go ahead.
Yeah, I think it's women in general. I didn't say specifically Black women.
Well, by women, you can be raised by a woman and be very successful. There are politicians. There are very successful people, rich people who have been raised by just their mother their whole life, and they have been just fine. It has nothing to do with that. And I feel like that's putting people in a box. You should definitely not do that. That's I'm trying to figure out the word for that, but yeah, that is very negative. You cannot think like that. It puts people in a bad, if you think about it, someone who has a single mother and all their life, they've been pushing, and it's hearsay. You're not 100% around. I have family members who are Caucasian, so I'm around Caucasian people a lot. So I can then say, yes, I am around them. I have a lot of family members. I can't even just point them all out, but I have a lot of them that are Caucasian, and they do not have your mindset. And if they did, they would not be around me if they had that mindset. Because it's very negative, and it also it's going kind of back to where you're stereotyping, and that stereotyping is very negative, especially coming from a Caucasian man. That's a very negative mindset to have, period.
But here's the thing, right? So a lot of people, they think it's bad to say that women differ from men in many different biological ways. I don't understand why they're offended by that. Why can't we just play the roles that we're meant to play? Why do you have to be the man in the relationship, Breezy? Why do you have to be the tough one, the logical one? Why can't you just play your role as a woman?
Well, let me tell you that really quickly. So you, as a white male, you have the world sees you different. The world sees you different than they do me as a Black woman. So you're going to get a different reaction. You're going to get a different everything when you step out into the world, right? Right? And you know that, right?
Well, when I'm half Latino, but
I'll give you an example. When a police pulls you over and they see your skin color, they see you versus me, a Black person, you're going to get a different reaction from different cops sometimes. That is because we have different reactions in the world. So from stemming from that, I'm going
it's a class issue. Wouldn't you agree on
Well,
that?
yeah, that might be it as well. But again, when I step out in the world, there's a different reaction. So it's easier for you to be like, well, why aren't you guys just so mellow and sweet? Why don't you play your role? Why don't you do you? Okay, so first off, this is 2024, playing the role as you say. Because what it seems like, you kind of do have a little bit of misogynistic type of feel. I could tell a little bit.
Why?
But
Wait, hold on. Why do you say that?
Because you know what? You know how I know that? Because of what you just said. Why can't you guys play your role? That's what you said. So again, what I'm trying to tell
I'm
you
saying
is
men
that,
too. Like I think men have a role as well, and we should play our role. But
no,
I don't
well, here's the
understand.
thing, though.
I don't understand why women get offended when we say that they're
No,
more
I'm not.
emotional.
I'm
If
not
that's the
offended.
way
I'm
it
not
is.
offended. What I'm saying is, it's a 2020. It's 2024. We can't be like how we were. Women, you can't. Women weren't even allowed to vote. They weren't allowed to have a job. They weren't allowed to do certain things. So you can't. So a woman can't be sometimes super submissive. She can't be like that nowadays. Because
Wait,
you know
Breezy,
why?
can I ask you something real quick?
Yeah,
So, would you consider yourself a feminist?
I am for everyone. I'm for men, women. I'm not solely for women. If that's what you're saying, if that's what you mean, is that what you're trying to say?
No, I'm just saying if you're a feminist. I mean, do you?
I love who loves me. I don't care about. I'm not just solely. Oh yes, women's right. No, I'm not. No. No, that's the answer to that.
Do you believe that a man can be a woman?
I believe, you know what I believe? I believe people should do whatever they feel like they should do, that they want to do. If a man wants to be a woman, they can be a woman. If a woman wants to be a man, that's on them. That has nothing to do with me.
Oh, got you. So you're a feminist who's okay with men taking from women.
I am not. I don't care what other people do with their lives. I am for whatever anybody else wants to do.
Well, man, but here's the thing. The reason why I asked you that is because you brought up how women didn't have rights, and now you are okay with men taking from women.
I am not. I'm whatever. That's not. How is that taken from a woman? How is that taken from a woman? Explain that.
Because Dylan Mulvaney and Caitlyn Jenner won Woman of the Year, which could have been given to a woman, or how they dominate women's sports.
I understand that. I don't. Listen, let me tell you something. They didn't
you're not
take
a feminist.
No, they haven't taken.
You're a misogynist.
I never said. Did I say I was a feminist or a misogynist? Did I say that? I didn't say I was any of those things. You asked me that, and I said I'm not for any. I'm for people doing what they want to do, being who they want to be in their lives. No one else should have the right to tell someone else what they should or should not do. Now,
I'm just saying that technically you're a misogynist.
No, what I'm saying is I'm for whatever anybody wants to do. That's what I'm for. If you
see, that's the problem. So I don't have any hatred for anybody. So it sounds like a you problem. I'm really not doing anything wrong. I'm pushing unification in this country. So I really don't care what people have to say about me. Insults. It doesn't affect me. I'm firm in what I believe, and we should not be racist to white people. So if you guys have a problem with that, go ahead and talk about it so that you can show that you're racist, so that we can know who's racist and who's not. Jewel, I'm trying to bring you up here, but it's taking a while to load. If you want, you can request again.
Hello.
What's up, Lorenzo?
How are you?
I'm doing pretty good. How about yourself?
I'm breathing, so I'm blessed. I guess we should just get into it, right? You said that racism is not systemic, right? That's what you said.
It can be systemic, but that's not the only form of racism.
Okay, so who is the ultimate oppressor in the United States? Who is the founding fathers?
It used to be white people.
Who is the founding fathers, period?
I already said white people.
All right, now you said it used to be, so I just want to keep that. The language has to be
No,
clear.
because you said who are the oppressors, so I said it used to be white people.
So when did it stop being white people?
When this country was no longer systemically racist.
So do you understand what the Constitution still says today?
I'm pretty sure it doesn't say anything about being racist to black people.
It absolutely says that black people still aren't full people. with exact rights like you or other white people. It also says that Muslim people do not possess those same rights. It also says that queer people do not possess those same rights.
Okay, can you tell me where in the Constitution it says that? No, I'm not going to hold on because that's a lie. So in the Constitution, tell me where it says that black people aren't a human or whatever you said.
Okay, so let's start back at the beginning. The founding fathers were white men.
No, sir. Tell me where in the Constitution does it say that?
Are you on the internet right now?
Yes, sir.
Okay, use Google.
So you don't know if it says that or not?
What are you talking about? I'm black. I know for a fact that they consider us not people. They consider you more of a person than they consider me. They consider dogs more people than they consider black people.
Well, I mean, you just showed that you're not sure if it says that or not, so that's a pretty wild claim.
I mean, what do you want me to do? Share my screen, or are you looking?
I'm looking, I just can't find it.
It's crazy how we can never find things that we don't want to see as opposed to what's there. So, cool.
Sir, so if that's true...
We can skip that then.
No, this is my live, right? Like, you can't come up here and push a lie and you have nothing to back it up.
Whoa, I'm not lying.
So you're sticking with that the Constitution says that...
The Constitution was specifically written saying that black people were a specific
so it used to say that.
Oh, it still absolutely says that. See, the problem is that
it does not say that, sir.
When was the Constitution changed to say that we were full people?
So you're saying that with the Constitution saying that we had a black president for 2 terms and we have a black mayor,
Ooh, I know you can read these comments.
Black people in Congress.
Real quick, I'm sorry. I know you can read these comments just like me, and I hate looking at the comments while I'm talking because I really do try to respect.
That's an absolute lie. With all respect, you're just up here pushing lies. Like, that's crazy that you have to lie. Hello, Malaysia.
Hey.
How you doing?
So, I'm good. You?
I'm doing pretty good.
So, you were saying earlier before the last gentleman jumped on that the purpose of, I guess, this specific live or any live that you host, I've only been on a couple of yours, but that you were trying to, your whole purpose is to unify people.
Yes.
But that's not exactly what the caption of this really reeks of. Like you're saying, for Black History Month, black people can be racist, show white people some love. Shouldn't it be show everybody some love? If you're trying to unify, if you're trying to be all inclusive, it should be show everybody some love, right?
Yeah, which includes white people.
Okay, so that's everybody. It shouldn't be just show white people some love. That's not you unifying anybody. Because white people aren't the only thing. I'm sorry? I respect white people. Love is to be earned. I don't.
Okay,
it's not about.
So you don't love them, so that's why I have to say.
Wait a minute. You don't decide for me who I'm supposed to love. That you can't just throw that word around. You can be a racist if you want. Okay, you don't love me. You cannot honestly say that you love me. You don't even know me. You don't even know me. I respect who respects me. That's anybody of any race. That's how that should work. You can't just roll around saying, oh, well, you don't love white people, so that means that you're racist. You can't, that's what you're pushing. So no, that's not you trying to unify people. This kind of seems like it's another live rooted in victimhood for nothing. It's like you're trying to be a victim when you're not.
I think when you come up here and take it the wrong way, I think that's you.
No, I didn't take anything the wrong way. Do you see what your post says? Do you see what it says?
if you think it's wrong to say show white people love, then you're racist.
No. Again, you need to read what you have posted. I'm not taking it the wrong way. It's what you put out there. You specifically said for Black History Month, black people can be racist. Okay, so if you know what you did, then you wouldn't have a problem with what I'm saying. Because you're contradicting yourself when you're saying.
My argument is that you shouldn't have a problem because.
But what I'm saying, no. But wait a minute.
With loving white people.
If your whole focal point is unity, why is it that your post says show white people, specifically white people, some love? Why does it just say that instead of saying show everyone some? Shouldn't we love everyone? Shouldn't we respect everyone by your logic?
Because people like you, ma'am, think that we shouldn't love white people.
But what is people like me? What is people like me? I've been on here a minute. I've been on here 1 minute. I've been on here 1 minute, and already you've decided that I'm racist because my rhetoric here. This is what reeks of unity. Me saying, yes, we should respect everyone, not just white people, because white people today want to act like victims.
Okay, can I ask you a question, Malaysia?
This is what you're doing. If it makes sense, sure. Because what you're doing right now doesn't make sense.
So who gets offended by all lives matter?
I'm sorry?
Who are the people that are most likely to get mad about all lives matter?
In response to Black Lives Matter, when for centuries we haven't been shown that? Absolutely, we should. We should.
Oh, so it's okay to say Black Lives Matter?
No, wait a minute. No other race in this country has
the type of history
that we do. No other race. You can't name a single one, except for Native Americans.
Wait, but how can you support?
Is it white? And then are you saying it's white people?
Ma'am, don't get hostile, right?
But are you saying it's white people?
What white people?
Because if you go crack open any old history book, it's going to tell you opposite. We weren't the ones running around the globe. We were not the ones running around the globe terrorizing people, group of people after group of people. That wasn't us. That wasn't us. You might want to learn your history before you go spewing your hate, because this is what that is. You're trying to act like, oh, it's unity. I'm calling for love. Everybody needs to love each other, but that's not what you're doing.
And so loving white people is pushing division.
No. Again, you didn't listen. You're still not listening. You're so focused on just white people, like they're the only people that exist, that you don't get my point. If you're calling for unity, which is what you said, correct?
That's how you're taking it.
No. That's what you said. Everybody in the comments, did he not say that he was calling for unity? His whole purpose of this live was to form unity.
No, I'm saying you're saying that I think only white people exist. That's how
look
you're
at what your post says. Show white people some love. Why are we specifically in only showing white people some love?
Yeah, and it also says Black History Month and Black people can be racist.
For Black History. No. Put all the words in there. This is what you posted. For Black History Month.
Yes.
Black people can be racist. So already it's got negative connotation. Show white people some love.
Yeah.
First of all, I don't even know how that makes sense. For Black History Month, Black people can be racist, show white people some love. Like, if we're going to be putting this stuff out there, it needs to start actually making sense. It doesn't make sense.
You can love Black people and love white people as well.
Okay, again, you're not listening. You're saying that you're
I think you're the one that's not listening.
But you're calling for unity, but then you're also only saying show white people some love. How is that a thing of unity? Unity is show everybody some love. It should be all-inclusive, correct?
Oh, so all lives matter, correct?
It's all inclusive.
All lives matter, right?
Wait a minute. Yes or no? It's all inclusive. Yes or no?
Yes, that's why I'm asking you. Do you think all lives matter?
Yes, but it's a yes or no.
I said yes already, so move on.
So, but it's not yes, but it's not yes and it's just yes or no.
Okay, yes. Now, do you think all lives matter?
Thank you. All lives should matter, but all lives don't. All lives should matter, but all lives don't. We've seen that.
Oh, so then you're not being inclusive.
We've seen it. That's not.
You're not being inclusive.
Wait a minute. You're purposely misinterpreting that so that you can have a leg to stand on, and you're failing.
You're just a hypocrite. How can you say all lives matter and then disagree? That doesn't even make sense. That literally doesn't even make sense.
Hi.
Hello, Alyssa.
So something that you said that I kind of wanted to address, you keep bringing up all lives matter. All lives matter is a very general, literal statement, obviously applies. When we're talking about all lives matter in relation to Black Lives Matter, it is important to recognize that all lives matter is nothing more than a reactionary statement that is said in response to Black Lives Matter. It's the same thing as Blue Lives Matter. They already had a slogan. They only say that to irritate BLM supporters. What you are doing here isn't creating unity. You are causing more division.
So I think when people say Black Lives Matter and they get mad about any other lives mattering, I think that's divisive.
No, so every race that has been marginalized has their own slogan, right? Obviously, you're familiar with like Stop Asian Hate. You might be familiar with, there's a slogan for Mexican Americans. There's also a slogan for Indigenous Americans. We all have our own slogans because we all go through different hardships. To take a slogan that was coined to help police brutality and help mitigate issues related to police brutality and turn it into a political statement for it's weird. But I wanted to talk about your prompt too, because I don't disagree with you, right? Black people can be racist. But the question is, does everybody experience racism? The answer is no. Not everybody can experience racism, although everybody has the ability to be racist.
Wow.
Because racism is inherently systemic. You cannot systemically oppress certain groups of people. That's just how this works.
Can you do it interpersonally?
No, that is not race. So when we're talking about racism, I know a lot of people like to break it down systemically, and interpersonally. That suffix ism is important though, because it indicates a system.
Ism does not mean system. I'm sorry, but it does not mean system.
Can we get the definition of the suffix ism? I'm sure you're sitting in front of a computer. I'm sure. Can we pull that up?
Yeah, and I'm sure I'll bring it up right now. But interpersonally, if I called, like if somebody called a black person the N-word, like if a white person called a black person the N-word, is that racist?
Wait, yes, that is racist, but in the same way that
where's the systemic racism?
I'm gonna explain that. Let me land, right? It's the same way how if I, a black person, use an Asian slur against Asian people, it would still be racist, even though I don't have the power to systemically or systematically oppress that person, because you are adhering to a system, right? When you are calling somebody the N-word in a derogatory way, and you are not black yourself, that is a reference to a system where black people had no power. This is in reference to Jim Crow. This is in reference to a system where black people were considered 3/5 of a person.
Right, but I'm not asking you if the N-word is racist. I'm asking you if somebody saying that to a black person is racist.
I just explained why a non-black person calling a black person the N-word would be racist.
No, because you're saying the meaning of the word is systemic, but I'm talking about the action.
Wait, yeah, if that word is a word that has been used systematically to oppress and degrade black people. So if you are non-black and you address a black person with that word, it is racist. That is a racist kind of a slur.
But you agree that systemic racism is like some form of oppression, systematically, right? So if somebody calls you the N-word, that doesn't affect your finances. It doesn't affect your job. It doesn't affect nothing. It just hurts your feelings. So you said it's racism, therefore it's interpersonal.
How privileged do you have to be that you think that black people don't like being called the N-word because it makes us uncomfortable?
I didn't say that. I'm just saying that if somebody calls you the N-word, you're going to say it's racist, right? That's interpersonal. If
you are a non-black person referring to me as the N-word, it is inherently derogatory. It is racist.
Yeah, and you can call a white person a cracker.
I don't know what race you are. I can't really tell. But if you had a slur associated with your race and I use that slur against you, guess what? It's still racist, even though I'm black.
Thank you.
Wait, I already said black people can be racist. I'd already said that. What I'm saying is that not everybody experiences racism because racism is inherently systemic. So if a white person, right, let's, I don't know, throw the word cracker out there, right, because that's a popular one that people like to get upset about. You look at the historical context of that word. This is a word that was used in the 40s to describe basically Karens. If you look at the earlier context of the word, this was a word used by rich white people to refer to poor white people. This term is not racist to white people.
Yes, it is, because if you call us a cracker, then you're calling us poor. And what if we're not poor? So yeah, it is racist. It is derogatory. And you just proved that they can be interpersonally racist.
Drop a 1 if I'm tweaking and I ate that, and drop a 2 if he ate that.
No, don't worry about the comments. I'm having a conversation with you.
Yeah, that statement was so absurd. I'm sorry. I needed to take a step back. Because what? Like, I really need you to reevaluate what you said and, like, think about it for a second.
Ma'am, you just said that they used to call poor white people crackers as a derogatory term.
Wait, yeah,
so
back
if you're saying
the 19th
wait, hold on,
century.
don't cut me off. So you said that, how dare you say that the N-word offends us? Okay, but when I say cracker, you say it shouldn't offend me? That's hypocrisy.
So I want to back up because I gave you 2 contexts for this word. Obviously, the earliest context of this word being to refer to poor white people. When this word is used later in American history, as I referenced the 1940s and 50s, it is basically a term equivalent to how we use Karen today. That is
No, ma'am.
that is
So a
how this
cracker
word
really,
applies
in reality,
historically. It's not a slur.
a cracker is somebody who cracks a whip on a slave. If I'm not doing that, then you shouldn't call me a cracker.
What?
I said a cracker originated from cracking a whip on a slave. If I didn't crack a whip on a slave, then you shouldn't call me a cracker. That's what I said.
Okay, fine. Even if I'm going to accept this, your ancestors beat my ancestors with whips. I don't care.
How do you know that?
You benefit from a system that your ancestors built off the backs of mine.
My ancestor? So who's my ancestor?
The crackers, of course.
Okay, but how do you know that? So how much percentage of Americans were slave owners?
Why does
very
that
low.
matter? You didn't have to
Because it's very low, and you're assuming that my ancestors were slave
before
owners.
you even continue. Owning
No.
a slave,
Answer my question.
I'm going
Answer
to
my
answer.
question.
Of course, I would love to answer your
I don't want your opinions no more. I want
This
facts.
isn't an opinion. I've been speaking facts the entire time, but let me land. Let me land. This is how a conversation works. You close your ears, you close your mouth, you listen, right?
Well, you cut me off multiple times, so if you're going to say that,
I'm
then...
still in the middle of a sentence, and I'm going to say what I want to say. Thank you.
Well, this is my life, just so you know.
I'm sorry. I feel like I'm here talking to you. Clearly, it's your life. Duh.
Yeah, so you don't tell me, like, what to do. I mean, I don't want to cut you off either, but you cut me off multiple times. So you can't say that I can't do it and then you do it to me. I mean, I'm not going to kick you out or anything, but I'm just saying, like, it's kind of disrespectful to cut me off and then say, don't cut me off.
Womp womp. What am I supposed to feel bad for cutting you off? What?
So, are you going to make a point? Like, are
I
you
would
going to
love
answer anything I
to,
told
but I
you?
need you to hop off your soapbox in order for me to make a point. That's how this works.
Okay, yeah, that's where you went wrong. I mean, we could have a civil conversation, right? I'm sensitive, but people have a problem with what I have up here. That doesn't make any sense. Why are you sensitive about me saying that we need to love white people? That is crazy, guys. She said there's no such thing as interpersonal racism, and then she gave me an example of a derogatory term to call white people. So, I mean, I don't get it. It's taking a while for you to load, beautiful disaster, but if you want to request again, then you can do that.
Hello?
Hello, Francis.
Hi. Okay. I'm not here to hate. It's more of just saying, like, I feel like cracker is more derogatory, is like less than racist, right? Okay. You say it goes back to cracking the whip. Also, I feel like the N word is so much, there's so much history behind the fact of, like, they actually were pressed down where white people weren't. Does that make sense?
I think if someone like me who's not racist, if somebody calls me a cracker, that would insinuate that I'm a racist, and that personally would offend me. Now, I'm not a victim. I'm not going to cry about it, but it is a derogatory term to call white people, especially if they've never cracked a whip on anybody.
I feel like context matters though, because it's derogatory, but I feel like it's not racist because it's not so much directed towards, it's hard to explain because derogatory is offensive, right? Racism is directed towards white people, right? Or the racist is directed towards race, right?
Wait, what? I'm sorry, say that one more time.
Derogatory and racist are two different words. So when you put them together, it just, to me, I feel like just saying cracker is not racist. If you use it in the context of meaning it racist, then yes. But I just feel like it can't always be like the N word, okay? 9 times out of 10, when they're using that word, they're doing it in order to put down people of color. But if someone says the word cracker, it's mostly used as jokes. It's two different things that are used very differently. So I don't feel like they're gaining the same. It's hard to be compared. You know what I mean?
So Francis, after the conversation I had with the girl who was up here, after I kicked her out, a lot of people in the comments were calling me a cracker. Do you think they were doing it as a joke or to offend me? And be honest.
Well, in this moment, yes, they're doing it to offend you because this is the conversation. So
right. So you agree that. So you agree that they can use it as a derogatory term to offend a white person, right?
It can be used as a derogatory term to offend a white person. Yes, I do agree at that point. Yes. But I just feel like Black people, the statement says for Black people, it can be racist. I mean, yeah, I guess, but I was just trying to make sure that it wasn't more of you saying that just saying cracker is racist, because it doesn't seem like it is.
Yeah, well, racism is basically when you discriminate someone or antagonize them for their race. So if you're calling me a cracker, you're either calling me somebody who cracked a whip on slaves or somebody who's a poor white man. So either way, you're making a negative connotation about me. You're adding negative connotation to the word that you're calling me based on my race. Therefore, it's racist.
Okay, well, earlier you had mentioned that it was, I didn't hear where you said it was based off your race. I just heard you say that it was referred to poor people in general. So I thought you were saying like it's just poor people in general, because in that case you could call an African American a cracker that's poor. You know what I'm saying? Because when you were talking,
not really. I mean, it's directed towards white people.
Well, when you were talking to the girl, you specifically said that cracker was also derived from poor people, right? What other white people would call poor white people, correct?
Yeah, so like if you look at somebody and you see that they're white and you call them a cracker and you don't even know if they're poor or rich, then that would be derogatory, because you're saying you're giving it a negative connotation based on their race. So obviously it's based on race because they call white people crackers. So, I mean,
I get where you're coming from. No, I get where you're coming from. And a lot of things usually are obvious, but it was just, I guess the initial problem, was the way the statement was said. It was like you specifically stated that white people and other white have used that term for other white people, where the N-word is specifically from white people for colored people. So that's where I was.
Well, you do realize, Francis, that Black people call each other the N-word, right? It's still a derogatory term.
Yeah, it's a derogatory term when white people use it, but when Black people use it towards each other, that's not derogatory, because they're just speaking to each other as their friends, their homies. That's their word. They took it back after it being used against them. You know what I mean? So if you want to take back the word cracker or whatever, I'm half Mexican, and half white. So I'm not saying one or the other. I'm just saying that in general, that's their word to take back and use if they want to use it. If it's not, then that's okay. But it's more of like, just like if you want to say cracker, that's okay because you're white. You know what I'm saying? Like, or let me not assume. I don't know if you're white. You could be Mexican, whatever. But I'm saying like that's your word to use, just like that's their word to use. And I feel like it's only derogatory once it becomes the person that's saying it is hateful. And once they become hateful, then now everything they say is derogatory, whether it be cracker, whether they're just calling you a bad word. Everything they're saying is now derogatory and racist related, because I feel like, I don't know, they just love to stand on that, and it becomes hateful and negative when that's their vibe.
Yeah, I mean, that was just the example I used because she said that it had to involve power or a system. And so I said, somebody calling you the N-word does not involve any power or system. Therefore, systemic racism is not like the only type of racism. That was the point I was trying to make.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I do agree with it's not the only type of racism at all. That's absolutely true. I feel like where she was coming from, but maybe she had a hard time wording it, is that systemic racism is very, very true, because there could be a Black person with dreads that has the same qualifications as a white person that looks very, cleaned up and whatever. Not to say the dreads aren't clean, but what is very clean and like professional to me is both of them, where somebody that is racist may see like, okay, like I'm just going to go for this person because of what they look like. And that's what she means as far as what I interpreted. I can't say what she meant, but it's more of like systemic racism as far as even now in today's like employment, there are certain jobs that don't let African American people wear their natural hair because they see it as unkept. Even though that's not okay, that's part of systemic racism, because how is their natural hair unkept when our natural hair is considered clean? I think maybe that's what she was hitting with the systemic, but I do see where you're coming from as well.
Yeah, well, I mean, that's why they bring up systemic racism, because that's the only way they can somehow try to prove that black people cannot be racist. But she denied that there was interpersonal racism, meaning she thinks that only systemic racism, that's the only type of racism. And so that's where she was wrong.
Yeah.
And trust me, Francis, look, I know you're a good person. I could tell, but if you go into a live where they're obviously being openly racist to white people, if they let you up on there, they're going to look at your profile picture and they're going to already start saying bad things about you. They don't even know that you're on their side. They don't even know that you're defending them. They just see your profile picture and they'll say some racist stuff towards you. So that's an example of racism too. But that's what that's what I was trying to prove, is that they can be interpersonally racist. That's all I was trying to prove.
Okay, yeah, I get that. I just feel like anybody can be racist, no matter your color. Even some black people don't like black people, you know what I mean? Like, there are racists within anybody, but I feel like what she was talking about was more of like the system as a whole. But yeah, have a good day. I'm gonna get off of here.
Okay, I appreciate you for coming up, Francis. You have a good day. Okay, let's see who's next. Hello, how you doing?
Yo, hello. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Okay. I kind of thought I was further down the line for the queue, but so the girl before the previous girl that you were just talking to, I think you kind of like misunderstood what she was saying, I guess. I don't know. I don't know what she was trying to get across, but like I feel like she did have some points that, were missed. And I'm just gonna go back and touch back on those points. But you were basically saying, what is it that you said? You said that what'd she say?
Well, she was talking about like the difference between what the N word means and what the C word means. Or are you talking about that?
Cracker, yeah. Those two, right. And I think can I ask what your race is?
Yeah, my race would be white.
You're just white, nothing else.
If we're talking about race, yes.
Okay. So she was basically saying how, white people called white people cracker, and I feel like that's different when it comes to like the N-word, right? Because black people weren't calling black people, well, we didn't make that up ourselves, right? That didn't come up from anywhere, right? So I feel like the point is it cannot be racist, right? If you're calling someone cracker when your own race came up with that word. Does that make any sense to you or no?
I understand where you're coming from, but like, let's say you were to call me that, right? What reasons would you call me that? Be honest. What would be a reason? Like, what's the reason if you called me that? What would be the reason?
Honestly, I wouldn't call you that, but I've seen it. People call white people cracker as a joke. And honestly, I think this is coming because they really still don't know the meaning. A lot of people don't know the meaning of cracker. It is just something that, people used to call white people,
You would say it to offend me, correct?
No, not to offend you. I